later. First off, we want to talk to a guy we haven't talked to in a little bit since he, I guess, became famous.
Just before he got into the house.
Sam Sicilia of the now UFC. How are you, Sam?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Hey, your life hasn't changed at all, I bet, since you've been home, right?
Oh yeah, it's been a trip. I'll tell you that much.
Were you down in Vegas this last weekend for the whole UFC deal that was going on down there?
Yeah, we had a fighter summit. So basically, it was a classroom full of everybody that's in the UFC right now. So it was that's quite the experience.
When you walk around with some of these guys who have been in for a while, do you find that they know who you are?
Yeah, it's pretty funny, man. They talk about my fights and my fighting style and stuff, and it was actually like I was kind of nervous, but it was really casual. You know, I casually sat in between Junior Dos Santos and Ben Henderson. So I was just trying to act like I belonged there, really.
Did you look at him and go, man, I'm glad I'm not fighting Junior Dos Santos? I mean, you can punch hard, but fighting that guy would be another animal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, oh for sure. He's such a good guy. Like he's like a giant little kid, but he has fists the size of lunch boxes, and that's nothing you want to get hit with, a 4XL glove.
Sam, I ran into Faber on Monday, and I say that only to drop the name Faber and that I met him. But no, I told him that I met you and Mike through our radio show here in Spokane, and he had a lot of nice things to say about the two of you guys, and just talk about maybe the relationships that you guys made, maybe with Dominic and with Faber since the show got over. Are you still talking to the guys?
Yeah, we are. When I was down there, me and Uriah went out, and he's a very positive person, and he's also like willing to help however you can. He knows that we have a lot of questions and stuff like sponsors and advertising and stuff, and he took the time out to help us out quite a bit. And
you were on Team Cruise,
right? And, Dominic the same thing. So me and Mike kind of sit down and go over all the stuff we've heard from both teammates. So I think we got the better of both worlds, being on different teams.
So what's your future right now, Sam? I know that you won a bout the night that Mike won the UFC Live Championship. You won a big bout there, and that kind of got you in the door with the UFC. So what's your immediate future like?
Well, it landed me a 3-fight contract with them, and I talked to Sean Shelby, the matchmaker of the lighter weights, like 145. I'm going down a weight class, and he said by October I should be fighting. So.
Sam, I think two of my favorite moments on the show with you, one of them is in the finale, and you beat Christian. Your statement was, it was unfair they put the two best-looking guys in the house to fight each other. And then the other one was after your fight, and you're talking to your coach, and you said, I just need to be less technical in my last fight. You're a guy that even right after a fight, you're okay dropping a pretty fun line down there, and that was fun to watch.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a real downer, but I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't get to watch it, so I was still bummed out. But I had to pick myself up quick, and that's the best way to do it, I guess. I joked my way out of anything serious, really. So.
Okay. That being said, we and Dana White had that fight with Saunders going to a third. Yeah. It's got to be disappointing when you think you're still going and it comes down to judging, and that's the unfortunate part of anything, boxing, MMA. The judging can kind of get you once in a while. Was that pretty tough to deal with when you must have felt the way we did, that you at least deserved another round? Yeah,
even on the right after the fight, I just felt like we both had fight left in us, so might as well, leave it all out there, And, Saunders got robbed, too. One of us was going to finish the other guy.
Yeah.
And, the third round's where guys break, and that's where I like to fight at, So that's why I train so hard. So I got to put that on display. And then when you get an opportunity taken away like that after training so hard, it is a heartbreaker. But, they took care of me. And Dana pulled me aside and told me how, you keep fighting like that, you'll have a job here. And he's just... and made it clear that he thought it should have went to a third round. So not being able to see what was going on, hearing that from him helped a lot.
Tell me about this, because when the house was established and you got in with a, what was it, a 6-second, 9-second knockout of your
I
opponent?
think it was like 8.
Was it 8?
Yeah,
Okay, I knew it was
yeah,
somewhere.
Only because he had to get him in range first.
I knew it was. I knew it was single digits.
Right.
But you got in there and got your spot in the house, and then Mike obviously got in with his win. And then they were choosing up teams, and I was sitting there watching. I remember who I was sitting with, and I said, "Those guys are going on opposite teams." Sam and Mike are going on opposite teams. I guarantee it. And sure enough, you do. So then you know what's coming, right? And it comes the first time that Mike is going to get out there and fight, or when you're getting out there to fight, and they're pulling the other guy aside, and we saw some of it on TV, and say, "Tell me about his fighting style." And I think they were asking Mike about your fighting style. But it doesn't matter. Neither of you guys was giving the other guy up. My question to you, though, is because you guys are great friends and everything, and we knew you weren't going to turn in the other guy. How hard did they push? Because we only see a little bit of it on TV. Was there actually more pushing than we actually saw?
Not too bad. I mean, it was just little comments here and there, and mostly, I mean, Dom was he's like, get me ready for the UFC, he was saying. Like, you might have to fight whoever, whenever, type of attitude. But I'm like, well, that's one guy, you know. The way I fight, I got bad intentions on punches, you know. And I want no part of, you know, shoving Mike in the corner. And, you know, I can't do that, you know. So it was mostly just, I guess, trying to prep me for the UFC, but I'm going down a weight class, and that won't have to be talked about anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
I was going to ask if either of the two of you were going to drop down. I know that they dropped Lawrence down right away. So you're dropping too?
Yeah, I'm going down to 145. You know, Mike he's a big 55er.
Yeah, especially right now,
You don't
right?
have to say that. He's got a big frame, man. That's a big guy there. You know, there's a point on the show he reached like 185. I think he's 190 right now, honestly.
Yeah, I ran into him.
Which I have never weighed in my life. So.
Sam, I ran into him last night. He's about that. And are you getting on him at all? Like, look, I know you're not allowed to fight for a while, but you're gonna have to cut a lot of weight.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's got it done to a science, and no part of him likes it, but he knows how to do it. So I'll give him credit for that. But it's a miserable experience.
Is he just eating too many peanut M&Ms? What's the deal?
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, now both of you guys, and there are so many people around town, and I go to so many places where people ask about you two, or have known you maybe at Shadle Park or at Mount Spokane High School, and a lot of them talking about, you know, somebody telling me about Mike saying, I can remember sitting in class with Mike at Shadle Park and him saying, I'm going to be a UFC fighter. And now he is, you know,
right, yeah.
and I'm sure it's the same. It was the same for you. Just tell me what your mindset is now. Do you kind of wake up in the morning and say, damn, I'm a UFC fighter?
Yeah. To a point, you're like, yeah, you know, I set this goal and I achieved it. But now you gotta like reset your goals, because now I just won a contract, which is awesome. But I also got a contract to fight tougher guys, and the road to get there was, you know, it was pretty tough. It was gritty, and now, you know, there are no easy fights. Everybody here is successful. So I went from, you know, the big guy to the bottom of the totem pole again. So
Sam,
you just got to think about that. You know, the guys I even want to fight in the UFC, you know, it's going to be no walking through anybody, you know.
Sam, what has changed since you guys come back to Spokane? First of all, I think it's awesome you guys are still back here training.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be different. People know who you are that didn't know who you were a few months ago. Is it been tough? Has it been easy? Is it not as much as I think it is? I mean, what's it like since you've been back?
No, it's a lot different. You get treated a lot different. But it's also it's a great experience. It is. You just kind of like I don't know how to say it. It's pretty surreal still. Everybody like taking pictures with people, or people having me sign stuff. And because I didn't have any access to like the outside world in the house, I had no idea how big it was in Spokane. I didn't know the Team Purple thing caught on. I didn't know that, like, you know, people were taking pictures and posting them on my Facebook of where they were when I was fighting. So the day I got out, I didn't move from my computer for like 2 hours.
Wow.
Well, you know, we talked to Mike about when you did get released, because, you know, what people don't realize when you're on the show, you don't have your phone, you don't have a computer, you're not making phone calls, you're not, you know, hanging out with lady folk, you're not out at the casinos, you're in that house with dudes For months. And I mean, what was that like getting out? I mean, you just said you didn't move from your computer. Was it exciting? Was it like, wow,
Yeah.
I can't believe I missed this? I mean, what
It'd
was
be
that like?
Christmas.
It was all very exciting just because, when you're in there, like, you have no idea. So you like, it sounds kind of dumb maybe, but you forget you're on a TV show. Like, I forget, like, I'm on TV every Friday because I'm around the same 16 dudes every day, and we're in a routine. Like, we practice twice a day, and that keeps you busy, and, you're like, sometimes it's pretty surreal, like, just getting done looking over and like, yeah, I was just training with Dominic Cruz and, Jeremy Stevens, all these UFC guys. So it was, on one hand, you're like, there's no place I'd rather be. And on the other hand, I went out and I, like, stared at the wall and being like, I can jump over this and get out. And, I can get away. but plans of escaping have been thought, but, like, there is no place you'd rather be. You don't want to blow that opportunity.
Sam, do you know when your next fight's going to be? I know you had to sit out because you cut your lip in your last fight. Have they given you a target date yet?
October. There's been talk of Leonard Garcia, but there's nothing at all really set in stone. So,
was it your idea to drop, or did they come to you with it?
It was mine. It's just because guys like Michael and Vince Pichel and Joe Proctor, are all big frames and stuff. I don't think they're necessarily stronger, but they're, those are big dudes. So, and I'm not fighting as often. It's huge. Last year I fought 11 times. Now I'll be on layaway here for a bit, so they need to use me. So, and you get to know way ahead of time. So it's a lifestyle change to get to 45, but it'll be worth it when I'm the big one finally.
Yeah, and then maybe you can punch some guys hard, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Sam, I mean, you've seen what it's like with what's going on. When it was happening, people were texting. In fact, we got a text during this interview from Mike, says Team Purple. I mean, it just became part of – you've really opened the door to UFC in Spokane more than it has been in the past, in my opinion, between you and Mike. You guys have represented Spokane very well. You're continuing to represent Spokane very well. We're happy you're back and training here, and all the best of luck. We'll talk to you pretty quickly down the road here.
Thank you so much. Good to hear that. All
right, that's Sam Sicilia, one of the Italian battalion. Those guys, man, I tell you, him and Mike. Watching that show. I like UFC. I like MMA, but watching that show, I was off the couch. I was on my feet. It was the same when Lyle was fighting in Strikeforce.
Yeah,
who trains with these guys, and it's a different thing when you feel like you know a guy, and
right.
that's one of us out there fighting now.
Well, and I'll say this. I mean, I gave MMA passing interest, and then when the two local guys got on this show, I watched it every week. I recorded it every week, and I watched it every week, and I've become much more of a fan of UFC and mixed martial arts fighting. But I'm a huge fan of these two guys.
Oh, yeah.
Just a huge fan. And I liked some other guys on that show, too.
Yeah. Well, and what's fun is I got to see in the background a little bit of what Mike goes through. Because I ran into him last night, and I just sat back and watched for a little while. One by one, guys coming up talking to him, girls coming up talking to him. I mean, he was the guy at the place we were at.
Well,
and
the amazing thing about that is the whole time he was on the show, he had long hair and a beard.
Right.
His hair's way shorter, and he doesn't have the beard anymore.
Right. Well, he's got scruff again.
Is he going back again?
He's got the scruff going again
because I saw him
last
clean
night.
shaven doing an interview on TV, and I'm like, who is that? They're talking to him like he's Mike Chiesa. Oh, my God, it's Mike Chiesa.
And I think not enough. It wasn't working for him enough, so he had to grow the beard back. You know what I mean? But no, it was and very approachable, very nice guys, and I couldn't be more proud that they're represented.